just a day removed from day one of the NFL draft, which saw the Bills take Kentucky corner Max Hairston. And here to talk about him a little bit for us, having been under his nose for the better part of the last few years, is head coach from Kentucky, Mark Stoops. And, Coach, first, thanks for giving us some time. We know you rarely have downtime as a college football coach, so thanks for giving some of it to us. How excited were you to kind of see Max hear his name called last night, especially knowing he was attending the draft in Green Bay?
I was very excited for Maxwell and his family. I think he's going to such a great organization, a team that wins a lot of football games. And Maxwell is just a guy that's going to bring a ton of energy. He's a lot of fun. What you saw last night during the draft with him smiling, being very, outgoing in many different ways, it's just who he is all the time. And, he's just a fun guy, and he works his tail off, and he's going to be a great asset to a great organization.
And of course, when we all in Buffalo and we're going through this draft, we don't know all these college guys like you as a coach. You see him every day. I mean, you know what it's like to watch him work. Give us some insight as to, how good an athlete is this guy? You say he's also got that personality. Does he seems to be a leader on your football team? Yeah. What can you tell us that we can't see by watching his YouTube highlights?
Well, I just think, as he, comes to your city and gets around your fans and you all get to spend time with him, you're just all going to be very impressed, because what you see is what you get. He always has good energy. He has a great work ethic. He comes from a great family. And, I was just very proud of him, because he's worked his way into being a first-round pick. You don't, get taken in the first round without a great work ethic. So you're going to get that. He's very competitive. He's got elite, speed, I think, is the big thing. As he's going to be challenged in many different ways at the highest level, and he's a guy with elite speed, and he's a competitor. He's not afraid to tackle. I just think the sky's the limit for him. He's going to be a great addition to a great team, and again, just excited for all of you.
Two-part question here, Coach. Maybe just lay out for us the strides you felt he made as a college player from the day he walked onto your campus to what he turned himself into that, we're witnessing the highlights last night after he gets his name selected. And second part of that is the level of competition he faced. I don't have to tell you, you play in the most competitive conference in the country in terms of football, and probably basketball too now, but that's another story. How has that maybe helped shorten the learning curve for him, knowing he's going to be facing a lot of the same guys he went up against in college at the next level?
Yeah, without a doubt. The first part of that question, I think it was just a pleasure to work with somebody that it was always willing to take the medicine, always willing to work and take coaching and get better each and every year. I think you saw him grow in every phase. He's always been aggressive. He's an aggressive tackler. He's physical when he needs to be. Again, I talked about his top end speed. I think he grew and got so much better to become a player that has great ball skills, and you have to be. It gets into the next phase of your question is, the competitive nature that you have to play with to play at an elite level in the SEC. Maxwell has it. He's faced elite receivers all the time, and he's always up for the challenge. And he's one of those guys that doesn't get phased. As you know, there's going to be ups and downs with every player, and he's a guy that can handle that. He's not fragile. He's a guy that's going to put his head down and work, and he's going to grow and learn from every experience. And that's all any of us coaches can ask for.
So when you guys are putting together your defensive game plans and Maxwell Hairston's on your roster, what do you really know when you ask him to do something, you can get it done when Maxwell, what's he do best?
I think he's really good in all the areas. I really do. Everybody has to learn and grow, and he's got to adapt to the NFL, and there's going to be growing pains. But he's a guy that can learn from him. He's a guy that will challenge. He can press, he could bump. He could play off because, as you know, at the NFL level, the contact gets very difficult, down the field. I think in college they let him play a little little more with their hands and play more physical. But that leads us to one of his greatest assets is his speed. So at the NFL level, when he has to play off and he has to cover these guys that can run and play at such a high level, it's so difficult. But he has that elite speed and he has the ball skills to compete.
So, Coach, this isn't the first time the Bills are taking a player out of Kentucky. They did it just last year with Ray Davis. I know he's a guy you picked up in the portal, but how reassuring is it for you to know that Max walks into the Bills locker room and there's a familiar face for him just to help him with this transition?
I think it's really helpful and really important, especially a guy that's just 1 year removed from Kentucky. So, he's just getting done with his rookie year there. And another person that, as you guys know, if you spend any time with him, that Ray just has such positive energy as well. He's a team player. And I don't care what level you're playing at. We're all looking for that. We're all looking for guys that fit into the locker room, that bring positive energy, that affect people in a positive way. I know Ray does that. I was very proud of him. I know he'll take Maxwell under his wing and help him out. And hopefully they'll contribute, again, to such a great organization with so much history. And, I'll enjoy watching them.
All right, one last one, Coach. I need a scouting report from you because the Bills still need a space eater, and you had one, Deion Walker. You want to give us your scouting report on your big boy up in the middle there?
Yeah, I don't. You can't go wrong with Deion as well. He's a guy that just, he has so much more potential, and he's going to play at such a high level. He battled some injuries a year ago, and he's a guy that if somebody wants to take a shot on him early here in the second or somewhere in the second, he's going to be a guy that's going to have a great impact. The sky's the limit for him. He's getting better with every rep and, excited about what the future holds for him as well.
All right, Coach, one last thing. How about your team coming up this year? What can we expect? I know you're got to be grinding the portal and getting your roster set together. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great challenge, and that's what's so fun to attack it. We have a lot of work to do. Wasn't very happy with our season a year ago. We've been a pretty consistent team, over the last 9 years, and this past season didn't live up to our standards. So we have a lot of work to do, but that's been a fun challenge. We have 31 new players that arrived in December that we've worked with all spring that got a lot better. We're excited about the future and excited about this upcoming season. I feel like I'm in the NFL B League, so to speak. We have a challenging schedule, to say the least, but we're excited about it. We're looking forward to it. I like this team. I like the way they're working, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for the time. We appreciate it.